I'm Mel Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam Podcast. Joining me today, got a big star, an Olympic medalist, and Speedo athlete. Today we got Bella Sims. How you doing, Bella?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm a simple man. Don't wanna complicate ya. Complicate ya. Simple wanna. Simple wanna. Simple wanna. Simple wanna complicate ya.
This episode of the SwimSwam podcast is sponsored by Commit Swimming, SwimSwam's exclusive team management software partner. Since 2015, Commit has been providing coaches with swimming's leading workout management software. And now, Commit has team management software too. Commit wants to help you make the switch from Team Unify to a simpler, more powerful solution. Their onboarding and customer service team will walk you through every step of the way. Check them out at commitswimming.com to book your demo today. That's COMMIT swimming.com.
In full disclosure, you and I have been talking a little bit off camera before we started up because I was checking in with you to see how you're doing because you were having a moment that a lot of athletes all experience, but maybe not on as big a stage as you have experienced it. And I'm curious as to what is how you're unpacking that right now.
I'm actually doing really good. I know that this past year has been a big change for me, considering like going to college and everything. And so I know it's all just been like a learning experience, and so that for like the coaches to get to know me, for me to get to know myself, because it's almost like it's been in like Coach Ron's hands for like a long time. And so I mean, I'm pretty good considering like everything. So yeah.
It's it it feels like you've been shot out of a cannon. Just so much success. We've been tracking that success on SwimSwam for so long. Um, and there's, your star rose rapidly and all deserving. You've done the work. Everybody knows, coming out of Sandpipers, you've earned everything you've gotten.
Thank you.
It's but everybody is aware that when you have a change that certainly a coaching change that things can go wrong.
Mhm.
But I think everyone was a little bit like, they were sort of like, what's going to happen as you made the transition from high school to college? And it appeared from our standpoint, it was going really well based on SECs and NC2As. Um, but something got lost in the shuffle.
Mhm.
And I, personally, when I saw your performance at trials, I said, a missed taper, maybe there's battling some sickness. I wasn't sure what it was.
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious as to what happened.
So I've been home for the past few weeks, just like training with my club. And for like the first few days, Ron was here, and I like talked to him for like a long time, and we kind of just like went over everything that had happened within the year. And he thought that my stroke changed, like, just like I used to like do something like the way my stroke was, I used to like, I don't know, like I used to do it, and then I got to his group and I changed it. And then I guess like as soon as I got to college, I went back to doing whatever I did before I was with him. And so like my stroke like changed a little bit, and then he helped me work on it. And so I've been working on it for the past few weeks. Um And so basically, like, I think it's just like when I do a lot of distance, I kind of get tired and my technique just like isn't there. And then when I do like a lot of it, it gets repetitive. And so it's almost like my muscle memory like changes to whatever it is when I'm tired. And so like whenever I would work on it anytime else, it was like that's what it was. And so I kind of got used to that. And then um so like my stroke changed, I guess, and that's just like the like main thing I believe.
What people don't realize is at the elite level, our our listeners know they know what's going on. They know that when they know that a stroke at that level of competition is like a golf swing. It needs to be perfect. It
Yeah.
needs, the muscle memory has to be there. can you break it down? Because a lot of the people who tune in here kind of have a sense of it. Is it a micro change? Can you describe it?
Okay, so basically when you're like swimming, when I'm like tired, my elbow drops and I don't pull with my forearm. The classic thing. And I guess I just got used to pulling with my basically like my tricep instead of my lat. And I noticed it like in practice and I thought it was weird. But like every time I talk to someone, they just be like, your tricep is like a minor muscle. And so whenever you're pulling with that, it like automatically should go to your lat because it's a bigger muscle. And like when it gets tired, it like moves on to like other muscles. And like, but it never did. Like it just always like my tricep always hurt and always felt like I was just using that and like never engaging my lat. And
It's
so
a right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a in terms of, if you're out there and you're swimming and you're leaning on your on your tricep, you're not getting everything out of your body. And if you're working your lat, you're swimming with your entire body, and
yeah.
you're leveraging a huge muscle group. It's not just your lat. You're rolling over and you're paddling like a just you're the way I think about it is going over the barrel and just using the entire side of your body as you just lean on it. And but everybody gets tired, and
Yeah.
everybody has sore lats, and it's hard to differentiate when that's happening, especially when you're burning through as much yardage as I know that you've been burning through. Yeah, and that's tough. It's also it's great to have a relationship like you've had with Coach Aitken, and that it is identifiable, and it's but at the same time there it you you've got to feel great about the having such a lights out freshman year at Florida.
Thank
You
you.
know, I thought it was fantastic. We're pretty excited about you. We put you on the cover of our magazine. We're like, it's all about Bella. And I also know that when you go from that atmosphere and into meters, and especially into an Olympic summer, that it's I know things can go wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a it in terms of training, as you transition to meters, did you step on it? Do you feel like you overtrained at all? Because part of that is fatigue.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning of the year, I was like swimming freestyle like every practice. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I've never swam this much freestyle in my life. Like you can think that I'm from Sandpipers and think that we only do freestyle, but like I don't. Like I do strokes. I like do have like little sprint practices here and there. Like, and people may not think that they're sprint practices, but like my perspective on a sprint practice is different. So like it's whatever. And so I was like super vocal about that. I was like, I can't be doing freestyle practices like all the time. Like, I need like a mix of IM in it. And they were good about like changing things like that. Um, so I'm super fortunate to have that on my side. And wait, what was the question?
No, it's coming into coming into a U.S. Olympic trials. U.S. Olympic trials to me is more stressful than the Olympics. It's like you just got to get over that hump.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I think a lot of athletes who have the capacity to train and grind will do too much. And I think that's when things go wrong.
Mhm.
And you're talking about fatigue and dropping your elbow.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering when you get into the cosmos of that heavy training, if that's where things really went wrong, or at what point did that happen, basically?
Mhm. Well, there was like a point where I just like was not having like any good practices, or it was like my perspective on a good practice. And and it's like hard to like have confidence when you don't have good practices because like you gain all your confidence from the good practices. And I just like ever since I would say like Christmas training, I like went home and then like came back and my stroke just felt so off. And like it was hard for me to have a good practice. And when I was on Sandpipers, like it was kind of hard for me to have a bad practice. Like I was so like consistent and everything. Um, and then like when I went to college, or like when I got back from break, I was like, what is going on? Like I had a little slump like when I first started practicing with Florida, but I was like, well, I'm just like out of shape. Like it'll come like when I get into shape. And then Christmas training went and it was good. Like that was the most like that was the best I had done like consistently in practices while I was at Florida. And then I don't know what happened like over the time I was home and like coming back, but it was like it was so rare for me to have a good practice, and like obviously like that doesn't give you a lot of confidence going into a meet like Olympic trials.
In terms of famous relationships between coaches, uh, definitely Coach Bowerly and Bob Bowman. Chase Kalish going from Coach Bowerly to Bowman, going from Bowman in high school to Bowerly in college, and then from Bowerly in college to Bob Bowman when Chase is a pro out in Arizona. They collaborated a lot. Is Coach Aitken collaborating with Florida staff?
Oh no, because he wanted me to like, he was like, I'm not your coach anymore. And so like, as soon as I went to college, it was like, I would like check in, or like he would check in on me like every once in a while, but that was like, it wasn't like any swimming related thing. It was just like, how are you doing?
Which is great. Which is half of coaching. Half of coaching is maintaining a relationship, checking in with people on how they're doing in terms of just their life. Because if your life isn't good, swimming can fall apart.
Yeah.
But interesting. So it is my hope, based on what you're saying here, that there's some collaboration going forward and a little bit of communication.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, well, hey, we have a great community of coaches, and they do collaborate, and it sounds like you've got your head around this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a the interesting thing is that the Olympic team is off. They're at training camp right now. They're about to head into Paris, and you're home. And my understanding is that you're in the water.
Yeah.
And what does your summer look like?
Well, I'm in California right now actually, but I have a meet this week. The Speedo Championships. So yeah.
Well, at SwimSwam, our experience is when everybody goes away for their international meets, but the domestic meets back home oftentimes become really exciting
Mhm.
because there's talent that pops there, and I hope that you're in the process. So do you think that you have corrected this stroke challenge?
I mean, not like fully, because I mean, it takes a minute for like your brain to like relearn what it needs to learn. But I would say I have a lot more confidence going into this meet compared to like trials, because um now I know like what to work on, and I just, but I don't really have any expectations like for like how it's gonna go.
No expectations is a great place to be.
It's the best. It's the best place to be.
No expectations is a great place to be, and another shot at bat, and you're just sharpening your knife, and you lay down the neural pathways, and you'll take this back as data and learn from it beyond the summer. So I'm assuming that's a full taper.
Um, I mean, kind of. I've been like learning how to swim basically, so but like I guess basically.
You've got a smile on your face, and I know this is a challenging time, and I do appreciate you being here and explaining this, because this is something that everybody goes through, and it's hard. And I have this experience. I had 2 points in my career, and one was at a trials that was horrible, and it wasn't fun. I did
Mhm.
not like it. Did not like. No one likes learning that way.
No.
So no one likes learning that way, and I appreciate you being here and talking about it, because someone's going to listen to it and they're going to go, "Bella Sims is amazing.
Of
She
course.
went through this."
If I can help like anyone, then like that means the world to me.
We might be too close to what's going on for you to provide any wisdom, but
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
I
I've
know.
gotten some
But
wisdom
still.
so far.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten some wisdom so far. No expectations coming into the week. Should be an exciting week. We're really glad that we've got a star at this meet, SwimSwam. So we'll have, we're going to be reporting, and that's really good. Um, Tough question is, can you watch the Olympics? Will you watch?
Yeah, I'll watch. I'm Team USA's biggest fan.
It's a fair question because, if you said no, I think a lot of people would understand. It's like, you know what? Don't need to see that.
Yeah. It's valid, but I want to watch.
Good. Okay. Good for you. And then beyond, what are your plans going forward after? Are you going to take some time off? Or are you
Yeah.
gonna?
I'm going to the Philippines, right, like the 20th, like literally the day after this meet ends, for 2 weeks, because that's where like my mom's side of the family's from, and then like I'm home for like 2 days, and then I go back to Florida.
And you're very young with a long road ahead of you. And if we're being honest, if you were going to miss an Olympics, maybe it was Paris, and LA 2028 would be much better Olympics to platform your talent all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well, I just want you to know that you're on the cover of our magazine, of course, this past spring, and I got to know your family members because I heard from them when that happened. Please tell everyone hello.
Okay, I will.
And that it was a very that issue sold a lot. But something is that we share partnerships. Sometimes a partner with Speedo, and you're also a Speedo athlete. And my experience with Speedo, through ups and downs and challenging success or not, they were a great partner, and I hope you feel that.
Mhm. They've made me feel so much better about like this whole thing. I was kind of nervous, but like with like the results, and they like reassured me that they didn't sign me because I was a good swimmer. Like they signed me because I was like a good like person in general. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to have you guys.
It was a situation where, I knew about it in advance, and I was like, Bella's a great ambassador for swimming, and that was a big part of why they made this partnership. After my career ended, I worked with Speedo for almost 8 years. I was continuing to do things for them, which was just fun. But I'm glad you're going to be an Olympian and Olympic medalist for the rest of your life. And the future, I'm bullish on your future. Uh, in terms of your experience and what you learned, you swam well your freshman year, and there's something about, we get so hyper focused on the Olympics, but that experience at conference at NCAA Championships is meaningful. It's a memory you carry forever. You've got a lot of these years left.
Yeah, I do.
Is
I'm
that,
excited.
so that's good. So this makes you happy and makes you smile.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on July 25th, World Drowning Prevention Day. And we should at least talk about it because this is meaningful. But I mean, how do you see this day? What do you think of when we're having a thoughtful day about drowning globally?
I mean, I know that USA Swimming and the USA Swimming Foundation has raised a bunch of money to prevent drowning, and like all their organizations, and so I think it's super important to learn just how to swim, because drowning is the third most leading the third leading cause of accidental deaths, and so I think it's super important to learn how to swim.
They do a good job of that, and the USA Swimming does a good job in terms of marrying that cause and that to the golden goggles,
Yeah.
and they always message on it. And I find that it's interesting that national team members are well versed. They know third leading cause of
That's
accidental death, and it's for
that's a,
kids. It's for kids under the age of 14. And if
yeah.
you're listening out there, we should share what we know, which is that if you're African American, it is, your chances of drowning are almost 60% higher. Latino, it's as high as 40%. And these are about having the skills to swim, and that we just want you to get to the side of the pool. But it's something that USA Swimming's been doing since 2005, and they've almost every year they're giving away in support to their member partners anywhere from $750,000 to $900,000, which is just to learn to swim programs and nonprofit programs all across the United States. So it's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. All right. I want to give you any parting thoughts that you might have.
Honestly, just a thank you to everyone who reached out to me like after trials. It means a lot.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of fans out there, and the great thing about them is that you're early. We're in the first chapters of your book. You've got more chapters to write, and your fans are still going to be there.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam Podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam Podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.